Hey there, it's Kristen Binford, wedding venue owner and venue coach, coming to you from actually inside my venue today. Sometimes I like to record venues from the bridal suite because the lighting in there is so great. But I thought I would come to you from inside the venue on a topic that might be on your mind. Today, we're going to talk about ghosting. Now, I want to tell you that I have a perspective on this that may feel very different than a lot of maybe voices that you hear in the industry or how you're feeling yourself. But my invitation to you is to really start to think differently about this topic, because what I see get in the way for so many venue owners is just believing that ghosting is a real thing. And then that causes them to not solve the real problem. So if you happen to be watching this the first time we debut it, make sure you comment #live. If you watch us later, comment #replay. Or if you just want like special bonus points and for me to show you some love in the comments, comment below with your favorite ghosting gif. How about that? All right, friends. So ghosting. So what do I mean by that? A common term that you'll hear in the wedding industry that people talk about is the idea of ghosting, which what generally people mean by that, if you're not familiar with that term, is a couple reaching out to you and then you never hear from them again. Maybe you follow up and follow up and follow up and you never hear from them again. And so the concept is you've been ghosted by that couple. Now, here's what I'm here to tell you today. I do not believe that ghosting is a real thing. It is definitely a real topic that gets talked about a lot in the wedding industry. But to me, the problem here isn't couples ghosting you. The problem is that you have unqualified leads, unqualified couples reaching out for the most basic of information, usually pricing and packages. So they're not qualified to begin with. So they're not ghosting you. If they reach out one time and you never hear back from them again, it's probably because they're having to reach out for the most basic of information. They have that information. They figure out that you're not a match. Although I will say sometimes that's not because of your pricing. More often than that, that's because of your value proposition, but that's for another video. But you feel like they should be responding, not if they were just reaching out for that basic information. Does that make sense? So they had a need. They reached out because they had that question. They had that need. You answer their question. They're no longer interested. And so you feel like they've ghosted you, but you made them reach out for the basics. Does that make sense? And if you think about it, years ago, when you bought your first car, you had to go to the car dealership and you had to, be wooed by the salesperson and you had to haggle for a couple of hours. That's not the experience that couples today have. So many high volume dealerships have their pricing right there online. If you think about it, we used to shop in the Sears catalog, or we used to shop and it would take a week for something or 2 weeks for something to be delivered to our house. Here comes Amazon. Now we expect 2-day delivery. Now we expect same-day delivery. Now robots are delivering stuff via Amazon, right? So if you think about consumer behavior, we're used to having the information that we need and want immediately. That's just that is human nature. That is what people want, right? So if you're holding back basic information like pricing, they want that information. Once they get it, if you're not a match, you're not a match. Does that make sense? They're not ghosting you. It just wasn't a qualified lead to begin with. So sometimes this happens, like I said, because you're holding back basic information like pricing. Sometimes this happens because you're in a very crowded market position. And we see this a lot. When we started this business 10 years ago, our most direct competitor had a gravel floor inside of an old barn venue. Now our most direct competitor has spent $5 million building a venue. So the marketplace has changed a lot. It also used to be true that you could stand out and that couples would find your venue desirable because the look of the space was so different than the few other spaces they had to choose from. Now, in every market, in every category, there are multiple venues that basically fit the same style, the same ideal client, the same price point. So if your business is operating in one of those more saturated categories, then of course couples are going to reach out to you if they found what they needed, or maybe you didn't respond quickly, or Maybe they just reached out to a whole bunch of places at once, and yours was one of the early ones they reached out to, but by the time they found the 15th venue, that was the one they really wanted, and they just didn't know it yet when they reached out to you, right? Then they're not intentionally trying to ghost you. It's not, again, I just don't believe that that's a real thing. It's just they've found what they're looking for, likely somewhere else. Now, I also just want to mention that I feel like so many people in the industry are saying, in the wedding industry, are saying, oh my gosh, you have to follow up within 5 minutes. The first person who responds to the inquiry is the winner. If that's true, I would challenge you to say that your systems, your processes, and your strategy is not set up in a way that serves you best. Because I can promise you, we do not do that as a venue, and we book over 100 weddings a year. I don't want to build my venue. I don't want you to build your venue business around having to be the first to respond, because what that creates is this like constant phone in your face. You're not paying attention at your kids' ball games. Your spouse is talking to you at dinner. You're not paying attention because, oh, you have to respond as quickly as possible or you're going to get ghosted. I just don't believe that. If that is true, then to me, again, that says that the upstream processes in your business prior to that inquiry can be improved a lot, because we probably check our email once or twice a day. Like, we definitely do not feel like we have to be connected 24/7. So my perspective is ghosting isn't the real problem. Unqualified leads and your overall business approach and how you communicate your value to couples is really the thing standing in the way. So this is going to be a quick video. It takes me 8 weeks to teach my coaching clients what we're talking about here, but here are just some big things to kind of get your wheels spinning. So listen, being clear on pricing, couples today want that. Now, do you have some risk? Sure, because if your pricing is wrong for the marketplace, or you're not communicating it well, like, is there some risk there? Sure. But again, if you're having to follow up a whole bunch of times, it's because it was an unqualified lead to begin with. Number two, you've really, if you're in a crowded market position, you've really got to find ways and make it your mission to be able to differentiate yourself within that pocket of the market, because there's not going to be less competitors. We have to get better at being able to distinguish ourselves in the minds of our ideal clients. Okay, so that's number two. Number three, again, if you feel like ghosting is a problem in your business, I would say you need to stop and look upstream and say, what's happening in the marketplace? Who is the ideal client that I'm best suited to serve? What are the pricing and the packages that I can build around that client to meet their need? And then how can I communicate that more effectively? Because when you do those things right, this conversation of ghosting, in my experience, really goes away. And then finally, making sure that you're not just thinking about, so often people come to us and they say like, oh, Kristen, my pricing's on my website and I'm still getting ghosted, or I'm still getting asked for pricing and packages, kind of the basic information. If that's you, then I would say your value proposition is not clear. It used to be enough to just be priced similarly to your competitors, or $500 less, right? Years ago, that could be true and you would still book a number of weddings. But because couples have so many more choices in the marketplace today, we have to be better at communicating our value from the perspective of what the couple needs and wants, not just our price. Okay. All right, my friends. So would love to hear your thoughts on ghosting below in the comments. We can open up some dialogue here. And if this is something, if this is something that you feel like, okay, Kristen, I need some help here. We've been, bumping against the wall. We have been feeling like we've been getting ghosted. We're getting some inquiries, but we don't feel like they're the right fit. We're getting tours. If your tour to booking ratio is less than 40%, if you're not booking at least 4 out of the 10 couples that are touring your place, to me, that's also an opportunity that's illustrating some of these other gaps in the business. You're welcome to book a call with our team. KristenBinford.com/accelerator is how you see our team calendar. Now, I do ask that if you book a call with our team, please plan to show up and play full out. We're venue owners and venue leaders running our own businesses. And so we will respect your time. I ask that you respect our team's time as well. Make sure that any owners of the business with you are on that call, because what we're going to do is really dive into your process, dive into your data, look at where the gaps are in your business right now. If we can help you, we'll show you how. If something else is better, or if you're in a really great place, then we'll part ways friends and make a different recommendation. Either way, we'll have a good conversation, but you've got to show up and you've got to come willing to play full out in that conversation, my friends. So KristenBinford.com/accelerator is how you see our team. And with that, I will see you in a future video.